Is the Canon 6D still worth buying in 2024? Yes, it is. And here it is. Still here, still going. My good old Canon 6D. Now, the Canon 6D was released in late 2012. And when it was released, it was a great camera. And it can still take great photos in 2024. The Canon 6D was Canon's entry-level full-frame camera. Now, of course, newer models have superseded it, but it is still a great way to get into full-frame photography, and it is still more than good enough for professional use. This is the camera that I use for my commercial photography work, and it's great. Now, let's think about this. If you took a photo 15 years ago today, is it going to be worth less? Is it going to be less relevant today just because cameras have become better? It's not, is it? It's going to be fine. It's still going to be fine. This camera's a great camera. I love this camera. A little bit too much, probably. And I've been writing this post for many, many years now. It's become an annual post. And in 2024, I wasn't expecting to be doing this, but the camera is still going. And in this video, I'm going to explain a few of the things from the post, but you can read the full post on rickmcavoyphotography.com. What's so good about the Canon 6D? It was one of those cameras. It was a landmark camera. It was the entry-level full-frame DSLR that Canon introduced that made the camera affordable for amateur photographers, hobbyist photographers. Before this camera, full-frame cameras were very, very expensive. And it hasn't got all the bells and whistles. We're not pretending for a second that it has. And for someone like me, I don't care. I don't want the bells and whistles. And in 2024, you can get second-hand Canon 6Ds for, well, a lot less than the latest fangled new camera, and much less than a cropped sensor camera. I did a search the other day, and there were quite a few pristine Canon 6Ds costing £300 to £400. Not sure what that is in dollars or euros, sorry. But they're out there, and they are a great way to get into full-frame photography. So, yeah, who am I? Well, I'm Rick McAvoy. I'm a professionally qualified photographer, and I'm also professionally qualified in construction, and I specialise in architectural photography, construction photography, and real estate photography. So what do I photograph? I photograph buildings, and that's what I know about. So I do know this stuff. So, yeah, you can trust me, okay? And I am a Canon user, but I have bought all this gear myself. Canon are not paying me to promote a camera released in 2012. Well, of course they're not. They're not going to, are they? No, everything I have, I've paid for myself. Maybe one day, Canon, maybe one day. But at the time of recording this video in November 2024, yeah, I just squeezed the video in before the end of the year. It's all paid for by me. Okay, what did I have before the Canon 6D? Well, I had a Canon 5D Mark I. That was my first full-frame camera, and that was a great camera. Bit of a big old lump, but still a great camera. And guess what? Photos taken with the Canon 5D, first released in 2005, would you believe? They are still valid today. Yes, photos taken with a camera that was introduced to the market. I had to think about that then. 19 years ago. Think how much tech and the world has evolved in those 19 years. But the photos taken with that camera are still valid, as are the ones with this. That is the point I want to get over. And there's something I want to say, which is this. Photography, it's not about gear. Photography is drawing with light, composition, creativity. Cameras are tools that we use to capture the light. And a camera that was a great camera 10 years ago can still be a great camera today. 20 years ago even. Yes, it can. Okay, so what else do I talk about in the blog post? Well, why do I like my Canon 6D? What is it about this? It's not an attractive thing, is it? And, oh yeah, I've got my universal L bracket on it. It's this thing here. And I've got my wrist strap here because I don't use a neck strap. And I got this thing that I can attach it to things with. So that's my camera. There's the L bracket. It's on the back. It wasn't expensive. It cost me 15 quid about 10 years ago. And it means that I can take the camera when it's on a tripod from landscape to portrait without changing what the tripod is looking at. It's a brilliant little thing. So it just works is the first point. The Canon 6D, it just works and it keeps on working. I've taken about 50,000 photos with this camera. I say about because I don't know, because I've deleted loads of photos from my Lightroom catalogue, all the rubbish I've taken, so it could be 200,000 because I've taken a lot of rubbish in my time, much less so now, I have to say. So it just works. It's intuitive. Canon, when they produce the 6D, they hit a sweet spot on so much of the stuff that's important in a camera. The sensor and the image quality. I love the images that my Canon 6D captures. I just love the look and feel that the raw image capture gives me. I love the depth of the detail. I like the tones, the range of shadows and highlights, lights and darks. And I like the way I can take bracketed sets and put the photos together in Lightroom. And I know you can do this with many, many other cameras, but I'm only talking about the Canon 6D. Okay, dynamic range. The Canon 6D has got a dynamic range of 11.5 stops. In theory. In reality, that's more like 8 to 9 stops when all things are considered, because it's not as simple as the headline number. And to put some context to what that actually means, these eyes are mine. Yes, even these aging old mince pies, they can see a dynamic range of about 20 stops. So it's capturing less than half of what you can see with the human eye, but it's fine for me because I can get a bit extra out of either end by doing something called auto exposure bracketing, so it's all good. Right, focusing. This is important. I'm not going to go through the whole blog post. You can check that out at rickmcavoyphotography.com, but this is important. Focus points. The Canon 6D has got 11 focus points. The Canon EOS R has 5,655 focus points. Now, I use one focus point at a time. I have a choice of the 11 and I manually select one. And it tends to be the same one because of the things I'm taking photos of. So 11's more than enough for me. So why would I need 5,655 focus points? I've got no idea. Other features, there's nothing groundbreaking here. This is just good stuff. The shutter speed range, 30 seconds to 1/4000th of a second, plus bulb. And I don't need anything beyond that. If I need to go beyond 30 seconds, I just use bulb and it's fine. Battery life. Well, on a shoot, I'll probably use one of the 4 batteries that I've got. I very rarely need the second battery, and it's just such a good thing. Oh yeah, one thing I do go on about is just be careful about reviews of cameras, because you'll read quite a lot of negative things about the Canon 6D. A lot of people say it's rubbish in low light, and a lot of us Canon 6D users say, no, it's not, it's really good. So just be careful with reviews, because a lot of people have got an agenda. Now, there's nothing in this for me to promote the Canon 6D. Canon are not going to pay me a load of money to promote a camera they stopped selling some years ago. I'm not helping them with the sales, am I? No, I'm not. I'm helping people get into full-frame photography cheaply. My reason for telling you why the Canon 6D is such a great camera is because it is, and it can help you get into full-frame photography and save you some money. That's why. So I'm actually doing Canon a disservice by discouraging you from buying a new camera. I need to put that in the blog post, don't I? Back button focus. That's how I take photographs. It's great. One of the things that is very, very specific to the Canon 6D. Ergonomics, handling. It fits in my hands. It's got a grip on the front. Shutter button there. Oh, just hit my microphone and again. Shutter button there. And I can walk around with my camera like that and just pick it up to take a photo, because it just fits so well. Obviously, the universal L bracket and the other bits, they don't help with the handling, but I take most of my photos on a tripod. But it's just a brilliant handling camera. The buttons are where they need to be. Everything works. I don't struggle to find everything. And I don't want a camera that's too small, because it becomes fiddly. It becomes hard to operate things and find things. So, yes, it's bigger than a brand new camera, but I'm fine with that. I don't want to put this in my pocket. I'm quite happy carrying it. It's fine. And the Canon 6D, the model I've got, it's got Wi-Fi, which is great. And it's got a built-in GPS. So I can record where I've taken every photo. I've just got to remember to turn it off when I'm done. But that is such a handy tool. I'm going to stop there because there's lots more on this. My one complaint, the LCD screen. It's not great. It's not as good as my iPhone 15 Pro. But then again, you wouldn't expect an LCD screen from a camera introduced more than 10 years ago to be as good as the latest iPhone, would you? So the comparison is unfair, and the criticism from me, whilst valid, it's a bit harsh, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm going to stop there. For the last time, check out rickmcavoyphotography.com, where you can read the full blog post, which is released at the same time as this video. If you've liked this video, feel free to like it, share it with anybody who you think might find it interesting, and subscribe to my channel, and then you will get notified whenever I release a new video, which is 2 or 3 times a week at the moment. And while I've got your attention, on my YouTube channel, you can listen to all the podcast episodes of my splendid Photography Explained podcast. And there are extracts there, and there are new videos about stuff in the podcast. And every now and then, I'll create something new for my rickmcavoyphotography.com website. So with that, I will say thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe. Cheers from me, Rick.